All right, so in this example here, we have a trinomial, and we have a number in front of the n squared. So you guys have already attempted this. I'm going to go through this with you. So we have a number in front of the n squared. So remember, the first thing that you look for is greatest common factor. If there is a greatest common factor that you can pull out, that would make a lot of sense. It's going to make the factoring quite a bit easier to do that first. And of course, in this case, we have negative 5 as a common factor. Oh, frozen? There, can you see that now? All right. So negative 5 is a common factor. Do you have to pull a negative out? Well, I would strongly suggest pulling a negative out because that makes this n squared positive, as we just mentioned. Okay? So that's good. That's going to make this factoring the trinomial that's left over a lot easier. So what do I get when I do 40n divided by negative 5? You get negative 8n. Good. And then negative 35 divided by negative 5 would be positive 7. Okay? All right. So there's your first step, greatest common factor. The next thing you want to do is you want to look inside the brackets to see if there's any way we can factor this again. And it's a trinomial. And so what we're going to do is we're going to look for numbers that multiply to positive 7 and add to negative 8. So what are the factors of positive 7? 1 and 7. Are there any others? How about negative 1 and negative 7? Those are also factors of positive 7. And which one of these pairs here add up to negative 8? These ones right here. Okay? So that means that we can factor that trinomial, so we'll put a negative 5 there. Don't forget about the negative 5. It has to stay there as a factor. But then you can factor this trinomial. So it looks like this. We now do n as the first term of each binomial, and then we simply put in the factors. So minus 1, minus 7, and there you have it. We'll do a quick check just before we circle that. Now the check is going to look like this. We're going to multiply this out by expanding. And for some reason my program just decided to flake out. So anyways, we expand this right here, expand the numbers by multiplying everything out, and see if we get what we started with. See if we get that back. So if we multiply this through, that's negative 5n plus 5. When you're multiplying, you don't distribute this number to the other factor as well, okay, because it's not a plus or anything. So now you just multiply this one by that one. So if we remember the FOIL method, first terms, last outside terms, so that's positive 35n, inside terms plus 5n, last terms minus 35. Gather our like terms. 35 and 5 is plus 40n. And does this compare with the original question? That's exactly the same. So then we can confidently say that this is our answer right there. All right, so there's your assignment from 3.5 there. Here's 10a, because you should have already done 9 and 11. So 10a, what they're asking you to do is simply fill in the blanks here. When you expand this out, what is that middle term going to be? Sorry? 5. Okay, why is it 5? Because you simply add those two. That's right. The middle term should be the sum of these two numbers in the binomials. And the last term should be the what of these two? Yes, it's called a product. Yeah, the product. Right. Okay. Okay, so I'll just show you the textbook here so that if you're at home without a textbook.
Silky, please come to the main event office. Ms. Silky.